Hey y'all, it's me Amanda, and I'm here later than I want to be to let you guys know what I read in May. I also just got my hair done and I'm using a new foundation for the first time, but the lighting in this room's weird and the camera's not great, so you probably won't be able to catch most of that. Anyway, let's just get started. First book that I finished in May was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Basic concept of this book is we've got Brianna from, this is the second book in to the Part of Your World series. And in the first one, Brianna is the main girl's best friend, and I'm blanking on the name right now. But this one's Brianna's book, and it's her romance with a new doctor named Jacob Maddox, and he is they have some misunderstandings at first, and then they quickly become friends. A fake dating situation happens. It goes from there. This book is great. Now, I'm not going to say it's perfect, but the amount of longing, the connection between the characters, all of that was there, which is what I want out of romance. I want an amazing connection between the characters where I really feel the connection and I'm really rooting for them. And I was this whole book, and I was just loving it. Now, 3/4 of the way through, I'm not going to say it falls apart, but it does take a dip. I wasn't crazy. There's miscommunication a little more prominently than needs to be in this book. And Brianna's behavior at the end of the book was frustrating. But despite this, I still gave it 5 stars, which I try to stick 5 stars to favorites. And the thing about this book is it gave me those swoony, butterflies, and I just loved it so much. I loved this book in the first 3/4 so much that last quarter, it made up for it. The last quarter is a 3-star book. The first 3/4 are a 6-star book. So fine. I still call it 5 stars. I absolutely love this book. It's a new favorite. Oh, it was great. I'll insert a picture of the next book. I do own it, but it's being read to my son. It's called The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White. E.B. White did Charlotte's Web and Stuart Little and whatnot. So Trumpet of the Swan is about a little swan named Louis, and Louis doesn't make any noise, can't make a sound. And then Louis learns to play the trumpet. It's a kid's book, so it's a kid's book. And it's adorable. You get to see Louis' adventures in life and all the different things that Louis learns, does, and there's a swan romance, and it's cute. I gave it 4 stars. It was adorable. I recommend it. The next book I read was The Virtuoso by Grace Burrowes. This is the 3rd book in the Wyndham series. It's also the 3rd book of if you're just counting the brothers in the series. So I just haven't been crazy. I've read so many of these books and I haven't been crazy about them. Who knows why I'm still reading them? It's because I spent money on them, and I just feel this obligation. I read this one on my Kindle. I got the first 3 books as a 3-pack, and this was finally the last one. This one centers around Valentine and his lady, Ellen, who is a widow. Now, the thing about this book, I don't know. I don't know how to... Valentine, of the characters, is my favorite. Oh, I should clarify, this is Regency historical romance, right? So, Valentine's my favorite of the brothers. But in his own book, the thing is, it's called The Virtuoso, right? Because he's really great at piano. And the whole premise of the book is that his hands hurt and he can't play piano anymore. And it's he's the virtuoso. The one who plays piano. And it just, I mean, that alone, it's such a small thing, but it annoyed me. And like, I get it. Like, you know, you need a premise for the book, but like, I feel like there's so many other ways it could have gone. But like, the guy who plays piano doesn't play piano. Like, okay, sure. I don't know. This book, and it has the continual thing where characters keep secrets from each other for no particularly good reason. Ellen was fine. She wasn't as annoying as the love interest in the last book, I can at least say that, but she didn't do anything amazing for me. Valentine was okay. I don't know. It just wasn't that great. Like, it was fine. I gave it 3 stars. Took forever to read because I have a harder time with mediocre books, because if a book is just bad, I'm willing to DNF it, right? But like, mediocre books are the hardest to get through, let me tell you. Next, I read Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, second in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Now, I love Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It was really fun, great mystery, good pace. This one, okay, premise of this book is the older brother of one of Pip's good friends is missing, and she is going to go find him. She's going to figure this out, because she's pretty good at solving mysteries, we have to say. The mystery in this one, I felt, was just not as solid as the first book. The first book, it was really solid, it made sense and everything. This one, not as solid. Things didn't all make sense to me personally. The ending's very emotional in a way that I didn't feel was properly earned. And we see Pip really feel a lot of empathy for a character that I didn't feel like it made sense for her to feel a ton of empathy for. It was a little strange, in my opinion. And I just didn't get like where this emotional beat was coming from. Okay. Otherwise, it was fine. Like, I mean, it was better than fine. I honestly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I still recommend it. I have the last book. I'm not going to start it anytime super soon, but it's coming. Next was Garden in the Rain by Lynn Kurland. Now, alright, this is a book I've had sitting on my shelves forever. I'm pretty sure I bought it when Borders was going out of business, and I just was like grabbing random, inexpensive books. Okay. Basic premise of this book is it's about a lady named Madeline who decides she and her fiance break up. He dumps her like shortly before they get married for another woman. She ends up going on the trip that I think was meant to be their honeymoon. I think. And it's a trip to Scotland in the fall, which was disappointing. I wanted this to be a spring book because it's a garden in the rain. That sounds like spring to me. It actually takes place in the fall. And then it is misfortune upon misfortune happening to this lady. The guy in it is a guy named Patrick. He starts off as a douchebag, and of course he gets better throughout the book. I don't know why he was so douchey in the beginning. I don't know. Whatever. So the thing about this book is her ex-fiance also decides he's going to go on the trip, and he just makes her life an absolute living hell. And it is, this guy, the ex-fiance is so ridiculously like cartoon character villain, and like the stuff he does to her is so horrible. Like, he's kind of trying to win her back, but he's constantly making fun of her weight. He steals her stuff, and I just didn't like this book, okay? This book took me forever to get through because I just wasn't enjoying it, and I never wanted to pick it up, but I didn't hate it, so I wasn't willing to DNF it. And again, this is when I don't finish, like, when I take forever to read a book is when it's mediocre or it's not bad enough for me to DNF. And then this one, it was just... The thing is, Madeline in this book is a lawyer. She's a lawyer. She's became a lawyer. And like, why is this woman so helpless? Like, so this was written in the early 2000s. I think it was written in like 2003. And it has not, like, it has the feeling of a romance novel from back then, because there's this undercurrent of like, Madeline should be a very capable, strong woman. but she is very much a damsel in distress. And I felt sympathy for her a lot of the time. But, like, here's the thing. If your stuff is, like, she keeps losing all of her stuff. I'm assuming that the ex-fiance has stolen it. We never actually find out what he did with the stuff or get proof that he stole it, but her stuff keeps disappearing. And it's like, here's the thing, like, after a while, if your stuff kept disappearing, wouldn't you, like, I don't know, be a lot more careful with your stuff? And, like, at one point she loses her purse, which as a woman, I think is absolutely ridiculous. I feel like if you're losing all your stuff, you would hold on to your purse. It would always be on your person constantly. You would not lose your purse too. She loses it because she puts it down in somebody's house. Like, and you know, it's somebody's house, but like, seriously, I would never put it down. Like, but anyway, it's annoying that she is made absolutely helpless in this book. Oh, there's also time travel. There's random time travel in this too, so you've got that going on, which did not make the book any better. It was weird. And I didn't like it. And like I said, I hated how helpless the heroine was. And like, she's a lawyer, but it's very clear that the message of the book is that, like, instead you should want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, get away from the rat race. And she's very much complaining about, like, her student loans. And it's like, but you're a lawyer. You could make so much money that those student loans should not be a problem, my dear. Because you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. And again, like, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom, right? So you're probably like, why are you insulting stay-at-home mothers in this way? How could you do such a thing? Don't you like reading about other stay-at-home moms? I don't. That's not what I want in my romance novels. Like, I'm fine with stay-at-home moms. It's totally, obviously, I am one. But, like, I'm also not a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like, she's a lawyer. And we had an opportunity in this book to have her, because her ex-fiance was a lawyer. We could have had lawyer versus lawyer, her actually being useful and kicking butt, but no, that never happened. She's just utterly damsel in distress, useless the whole book. So I gave A Garden in the Rain 2.5 stars. I think 2 stars is perfectly appropriate too. Do not recommend. And then the next book I read was Credence by Penelope Douglas. Now, basic premise is it's about a young lady named Tiernan who she is the daughter of a famous producer and famous actress who'd gotten married. And one day she goes into her parents' room and finds out that they've committed suicide together. And it turns out that her dad had terminal cancer, but her mom can't live without her dad. So her mom goes ahead and they both commit suicide together. So, obviously her parents were terrible. Like, I don't understand how how her mother could do that to her. I mean, the dad's obviously pretty awful too, but I think the mother's worse because she could have been living and supporting her daughter, but no. So anyway, Tiernan ends up going to live with her step-uncle and step-cousins in Colorado, like in the middle of the woods. And they kind of have like a homestead and stuff, and they get snowed in for months during the winter. And this book is a little crazy pants. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this was. I got it for like, I wanted it to be like a survivalist, like in the woods kind of story. And that's not what this is. This book is very smutty. And like, I'm going to be upfront with you. She sleeps with all 3 of these guys. Like, it is smutty. It's not a wise choose. She ends up choosing one of the guys. But like, and all 3 guys suck. Her step-uncle is an asshole. He's straight up an asshole. One step-cousin, Caleb, doesn't talk and is super rapey. The other one, Noah, he's actually more personable, and I kind of like Noah, but he's also really kind of like, I'm gonna whine because you won't have sex with me. They all suck. They all suck. Like, if you want some smut, there's good smut in it. I mean, I didn't like reading some of it because, like, there's like maybe one encounter I think enjoyed in the book. The rest of it was more like me sitting there going like, eh. This is also dark. I'm gonna say it. I would categorize this as a dark romance, which is just not my thing. The consent is dubious, etc. I'm not gonna go super into it, but because like I should also clarify that Tiernan at the start of the book is 17. She does turn 18 before all the crazy sex happens, but like this wasn't my thing. I know a lot of people love this book. This wasn't my thing personally. I gave Credence 3.5 stars. Because I'll at least say this. I was compelled enough to keep reading, and I kind of enjoyed reading it. I don't know. Just not my thing. One book that I forgot to mention, I listened to this one on audiobook, was Goldenhand by Garth Nix. So you probably know, I'm really into the Old Kingdom series. I can't get enough. I just really enjoy it. He's got lots going on in that universe. So I just was all about it. And this one is great because it's actually like the first book that takes place in the future after Abhorsen. And the big conflict of this one is something to do with Clore of the Mask, which is why Clariel is a book that exists. I'll be honest with you, you don't really need to read Clariel to read Goldenhand. I don't think it's necessary. I would recommend only reading Clariel if you're really into this series and the world he's created. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother. It's a slow-moving book. But Goldenhand was great. Lots of action, lots of stuff going on. It was fun. We get new characters. We have a good, fun. We have a big conflict, and it's great. We have some cute romance, too. I know I'm not talking about the whole plot a whole lot, but it's kind of hard to talk about because, like, you need to read an entire series. Just know I enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. And then my last book to talk about is Karma Camellia, which is the second book in the... it's like a cozy mystery series that takes place in a flower shop, or with a flower shop lady. This one was cute. Basically, I think I gave it 3.5 stars. It's pretty similar to the first one. It's not... I actually figured out the mystery. I'm very proud of myself. Basically, there's a murder. Fortunately, no one likes the person who was murdered. And, the lady figures it out. I don't really know how the character actually figured out. She just sort of, was like, I think this happened. There's no... One of the things that I've noticed a lot of cozy mysteries miss is they don't have a lot of clues and evidence, which I like clues and evidence. I like being able to piece the clues together. It's much more like figuring out motives and whatnot, which is fine, That's a lot of investigating too. And I liked the first book a little bit more, but I think I gave this one the same rating as a whole. Even though I definitely like the first one more. I think this is a cute series. I bought the next one. I'll read it eventually, but it's not a huge priority. Anyway, that's finally it. That's all the books I read. I think there was about 8. Not as many as some months, but I think I did better than April. So I hope you're all doing well. Oh, and if you got to the end of this, give me a sun emoji for the summer. Right now it is actually really cloudy, cold, and sometimes rainy here, but we're going to be optimistic. Hope you're all doing well. Bye.